Joining us now is forensic criminologist Dr. Laura Petler. Doctor, good to have you this morning, and we really appreciate your time. So I do want to dive into this back and forth, but to start, reporting out now that there's DNA and a glove that was identified inside Nancy Guthrie's home. We know another glove was recovered a distance from the home on the side of the road. And some have speculated from the video images, it looks like the suspect may have been wearing two gloves at the same time. We've got time that's passed, the weather outside, possible doubling of the gloves. What forensic evidence might be present on those items?
Good morning. So thank you so much for having me. Yes. So when we're talking about forensic evidence, we have to always consider the elements, like you mentioned, the weather, the humidity, temperature, precipitation, all those kinds of things in relation to the quality and the ability to recover evidence such as DNA from something like a glove or anything else that might be tossed along the road as somebody is leaving that area. And then, of course, they want to do a cross comparison, not only like a presumptive DNA test, like a preliminary test, but then they also want to do a confirmatory test so that they can compare it to known forensic profiles of known offenders and other actually unknown offenders too. There's a separate section for that, and to see if they can get a link or to see if it hits on anyone that may be known to law enforcement already.
So Jessica mentioned something that was really interesting in her report, that local authorities sent one of the gloves as evidence to another lab in Florida, not Quantico, and noted that any findings on these gloves may be degraded after undergoing initial testing. Is that something that concerns you, that this evidence isn't headed straight to Quantico right out of the gate?
It is concerning to me that the evidence would not go to Quantico. I think that even though the private sector tends to have higher technology in DNA in a lot of states, not every state, but it is true that some of the states do not have the same technology. Quantico specifically has rapid DNA and other capabilities that a lot of the state labs don't have, and maybe even possibly private sector labs don't have. And therefore, sending everything to Quantico, in my opinion, is going to be the best solution. But for whatever reason, this is not happening between these agencies. I hope we see a change soon.
What do you see as the biggest implications of these moves? We've got about 30 seconds left. And also this back and forth between local authorities and the feds. What's your read?
I've worked in this field for 25 years, specifically in homicide, which is always very political in nature, and it's not uncommon for agencies not to get along, not to play well with others, and it's unfortunate, specifically in this type of case, because as I have mentioned before, it is critical that the FBI lead in this particular case because they are the ones with the experience, the technology, and the equipment and the personnel to be able to handle this appropriately, as opposed to a local agency, which is more of a generalist type agency that is going to react to more generalized crime. And so for me, I think that the FBI should be leading here. And I've felt that way since the beginning.
Yeah, well, we know losing time in any sense isn't good in a scenario like this. Dr. Petler, great to have your insights this morning. Thank you very much.